सवीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Chant the first 9 verses together. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrinkarane, Modhajahi Vidhanagama Krishna, Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishnam, yallabhase nija karmopatam, vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Narisana Drishtva Magamohavesham Etan Mansavasari Vikaram Manasi Vichintaya Varam Varam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Nalinidalagata jalamati taralam kadvajjivitamatiṣaya chapalam vidhivyadabhimanagrastam lokam shokavatam ca samastam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Yavaditto bhajana saktah tavannija parivaro raktah paschajivati jarjaradehe vatanto pina drishati dehe. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Yavat pavano nivasati dehe tavat pritchati kushalam gehe. Gatavati vayo deha paye bhaya vidhyati tasmin kaye. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Balastavat kridasaktah tarunastavat tarunisaktah vriddhastavat chintasaktah parame brahmani kopinasaktah. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modhamate. Kate kanta kaste putra samsaro yamativa vichitra. Tasya tvam kaha kuta ayatah tatvam chintaya tadiha pratah. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate Satsangate Nisangatvam Nisangate Nirmohatvam Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvam Nishchalatatve Jivanmukti Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Did I say last time that we have to memorize this verse? Yes. Did you memorize? Yes. Memorize? Yes. Very good. So who all have memorized? 30% of the class. Next week I will do random test. This week only I would have done. Next week. Okay, so satsangatve nisangatvam. So we saw satsang. What is satsang?
Good people.
Satsang is not good people.
Company
of good.
Companionship of the good.
Companionship with the good people. Which means we have to participate actively. Company of the good can be passive. I am just in the company of good people. But companionship with the good people, meaning I can participate actively in the satsang, in the discussions that are happening, change my thinking. See, all of us live according to our convictions. And in satsang, when we come, our convictions change. That's why they say nirmohatvam. Moha is the wrong notions that we have, delusions that we have. And we are convinced by those delusions. So those have to change. So satsanga is that companionship with good people. Literal meaning of satsang is the company of sat or the truth. So constantly to be aware that I am divine is the highest meaning of satsang. That my nature is absolute truth. I am not this body, mind, intellect. To be aware of that at all times is actually called satsang. But we are not able to be aware all times. So now and then when we attend a session, we are reminded, my nature is divine. I am not this. I am just playing a role. So that is one highest meaning of satsang. To always be aware that I am divine. Then the second meaning is that to be in the company of such people who have that awareness. So a realized master or a saint, anybody who has woken up to that truth. It doesn't even have to be a realized master like a rishi or a sannyasi. There can be people who are householders who have known the truth. Many people consider that the author of this Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, they consider him as an awakened master. So it could be anybody who has known the truth. It does not have to be a formal religious person. So to be in the company of such people, to be in touch with them, it could be also that if it is not possible to be in touch with them directly, so through the literature, so through their books. When somebody asked for an appointment with Gurudev and said, Swamiji, when can I meet you? I want to have satsang with you. So Gurudev wrote, genuinely expressing his difficulty, saying, my schedule is so packed, this. So I may not be able to meet you personally, but you can contact me through all the books that I have written. You will meet me there. Go and meet me there, have the satsang there. And as and when time permits, I will let you know and we can meet personally. So the books, the literature, the company of people who are following that path, walking that path, all that is the meaning of satsang. Today our sangha is there, but it is not satsang. It is deha sangha. We are attached to the body. Vishaya sangha, attached to the objects. Vishayi sangha, attached to the people who are extroverted, So from Vishaya Sangha, Vishayi Sangha, Deha Sangha, we have to come to satsang. And that satsang, as we saw last time, comes to us by the grace of the Lord. So when we do good karma, our scriptures say that when we do good karma, we get punya, merit. So that punya leads to higher worlds. So a person enjoys certain benefits. Even in this world, gets certain success, name, fame, lot of things. And in the higher worlds, one gets swarga and other places. Enjoys it. So by one's own good deeds, one can only get that. Satsang does not come because of the good deeds. Satsang comes only by grace of Bhagavan. Definitely when I do good deeds, my mind becomes pure and I start demanding, my jignasa starts. So I start wanting to know what is the truth, what is the reality, what is spirituality. Some inclination towards that starts. But satsang comes only by the grace of the Lord. Because to find such people is difficult, who are knowers of the truth. Even to find seekers it is very difficult. And then to have the continuous inclination to walk the path, that is also difficult because mind is so fickle. A lot of people are like that. We call them as Arambashura. Arambashura means very enthusiastic in the beginning. It's like the soda bottle, The fizz comes out. After that, everything is thanda. It's like that. So in the beginning, we will do this, we will do that. Every day, every Sunday we are going to attend. And we're going to go for the camp also, and this and that. And we're going to read every day. After 1 month, everything settles down. So even to sustain takes time. By the grace of the Lord, it happens. And the importance of this is so that we understand that when satsang is available in life, one should just take it. How many times the opportunity comes to have satsang? Because we have so many other responsibilities, obligations, duties, lots of things can come in the way. Here we do a youth class. And I'll tell you one practical example. Till today, in this youth class, we have started closed. Many things have happened. But till today, we have not finished one textbook fully. Why not? How much we have struggled also. Still, self-unfoldment we started, and then we started say, cheese, and then Mahabharata also we started, and then again came back to self-unfoldment. First time we did self-unfoldment, we came up till the last chapter. Only one chapter got left out. Class closed. So literally satsang happens by grace of Bhagavan. That's why Tulsidas says that Binu satsanga vivekana hoi Rama kripa binu sulaganasi. In fact, the first step of spirituality starts with satsang. So again he says that Pratham bhavati santan kara sangha. Even devotion comes by satsang. Just imagine, how will we have faith? Only when we see some people living that, our faith also becomes stronger. Only by our intellection and thinking will we develop faith. We can't develop faith. In fact, next week we will have a debate. You can choose which side you want to be. The debate is, does God exist? Those who believe God exists, one side. Those who believe God does not exist, other side. And you have to prove your point. So how many people here believe God exists? Yeah. How many people believe God does not exist? Nobody. Nobody.
Maybe you are convinced as God.
But I never gave you any conviction about God.
But since your childhood you have experience, some or the other power is there.
The power need not be God. It could be electricity power, thermal power, nuclear power, soft power, any power.
Power which is above electricity power also.
God is power. Which power you ask them, that they answer they don't know.
Supreme power which
Nature power,
governs
supreme
everything.
power. You actually think about it, that do you really believe in God? By the end of the class, I will ask once again. If there is somebody who says, yeah, I don't believe in God, very good. Then we will have a debate between the two groups. If there is nobody, then you will have the toughest opponent, that is me. So then you decide.
You will prove there is no God. Is it?
I will happily prove to you that there is no God. I will challenge your conviction and I will, by the end of it you will be confused that अरे भगवान है कि नहीं है.
I wish you were adequately confused.
I am just saying, satsang means that how do we even have shraddha that there is one God? Just because somebody has said, I believe that there is Bhagwan. Just because from childhood somebody has said that there is one God, and so you think Ganesha is a God? And there is one Ganeshji up there in the heaven and who is controlling everything. Don't believe the serials that you see.
So that is how we are created. Human has created the form.
Oh, so that is another thing. Human created Bhagwan, Bhagwan created human.
Everywhere there is some different form. Form is still created by human.
Swamiji गलत नहीं मोकले आपने confuse us. जैसे we send you to learn something, whatever you know that also you are forgetting.
But what you know is it right knowledge? वो मोह हो सकता है. मोह के बाद होगा clarity. And मोह goes away. निर्मोहत्वे निश्चल तत्त्वम्. Vivekananda said such a powerful statement. He said a confirmed atheist is better than a confused theist. If you actually think about it, half the theists are confused only. They don't know only what is God. Even in Hindu culture, I tell you, how many gods are there? 33 crore gods. See that?
People say that.
33 crore are Devata. Devata is separate from Bhagwan. Bhagwan is not 33 crore. Anyway, that debate we will come to. आप सोच के देखो. Does Bhagwan even exist? And first of all, why should Bhagwan exist? Gurudev gave a whole talk on that. Why God? Why should there even be a God? सोच. This is all going on by itself. Bhagwan की क्या जरूरत? We Hindus are believing there is God. So many of them across the world don't believe. You ask a scientist, Stephen Hawking, he made a statement now. God is not required to run the universe. So anyway, because the next verse, 10th verse has one line which is related to this. So for that our clarity has to be there. So we will have a debate. I will tell you, at the end of the day, at the end of the class, we will decide who are the teams for and against. So I am saying in satsang, we get that clarity. We get the company of people who have seen, experienced something which is beyond, which our ordinary senses and mind cannot fathom. And it is the lives of such people, company of such people, which actually creates that urge in us even to know that there is something like that. Otherwise we are only bound by what we see. We limited, not bound, we are only limited by what we see, hear, feel, think. That's all. There is nothing beyond that. So satsangatve nissangatvam. Now how do I transform? See, satsang means the company of the good, right? So for an individual to benefit from satsang, it is not enough if one just comes to the class or has some satsang with some mahatma or read some books. There are 10 aspects in one's life which one must transform to sattvaguna. When these 10 aspects change, that person is in satsang and benefits from satsang. So, the first aspect is, this is from the Bhagavad Mahapuran, in which there is a book called Hamsa Gita. And in that, this is one shloka which is there, which says 10 factors which will increase sattvaguna in our life, and 10 factors which if you transform into positive, you are in the company of the positive all the time. Because to be in satsang all the time is not possible, to be always in class. We will get bored also. But other aspects of life has to change. 10 different aspects of life which should change. So the first aspect is called as agama. Can you see? Right. Agama. Agama means scripture. Huh? Agama is written here. Agama means scripture. Literally it means whatever we, literally it means scripture, but the adapted meaning is whatever we read. So the kind of books we read, the newspapers that we read, blogs that we read, browsing that we do, so many things. The input that we take basically. So whatever we read really goes to make our thoughts. It influences in a very strong way. Now each of these points that I am saying can be divided into 3, Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. So there is some Tamasic literature that we read, which makes us lazy, lethargic, dull, procrastinating, which creates a desire to indulge, which creates, which puts down our enthusiasm even for spiritual life. It says, see, what is there? There is nothing but God, there is nothing but higher reality. Just enjoy, eat, drink, be merry. That kind of a literature is there. Like the Tamasic literature. It can be even for daily life, which makes us very dull. A lot of people say, no, don't use your brain so much. Just chill. Live your life just like that. What just like that? How can you live just like that? There has to be some vision in life. So all that which makes us not use our intellect, our thinking, tamasic. Then there is a literature which creates agitation, or which creates excitement, which creates what can we call it? Which creates suspense, fluctuation, up and down. You are always a Rajasic literature. And then there is Sattvic literature, which makes the mind inspired, makes it calm, makes it quiet, makes it creative. So Agama means that. What I read. We are not saying we do not at all read Rajasic and Tamasic literature. Always read only Sattvic. That may not be possible at this stage in our life. We may have to read so many things. But the focus should be on the Sattvic type of literature. Even in a newspaper you will see. There is Rajasic, Tamasic, Sattvic type of information. Majority of it will be Rajasic. You have to search the Sattvic one. So in the center page, there are quite a few which are Sattvic type of info. The speaking tree will come, and the science discoveries will come, new research data will come. So the center page has quite a few good things. So like that I have to choose. So Agama. Second one is called as Apaha. Apaha means water. Water includes all the sense inputs, the food that we eat also. Apa literally water means, in Hindi there is a saying which says, Jaisa Ann, Vaisa Man. Jaisa Pani, Vaisi Vani. So as the food, so the mind. Even PJ, which said that you become what you eat. So a couple went to a restaurant and said, let us eat that which is the richest. Food. We will become rich. Apa is food that we eat. So the Upanishad says that the food that we eat is divided into 3 parts. The Sattvic part becomes the mind. Rajasic part becomes the body. Tamasic part is thrown out. So the certain type of food is a sattvic food. Fruits, vegetables, dry fruits, nuts, sprouts, all these. Then certain is rajasic type of food. Very hot, very spicy, oily, chili. Some is tamasic, that which is kept overnight. In fact, if you see that 17th chapter of the Gita, in March we did that whole chapter. What is written there? According to that, so we are eating tamasic food all the time. It is said the food which is cooked and is eaten after 3 hours is a stale food, is tamasic food. Yata yamam it is said. So, tamasic type of food. So in food, how much sattvic food am I eating? And today you don't see that doctors say that they do the same thing. They try to eat more fruits, more green leafy vegetables, more salads, more all that. So how much sattvic food? So agama, apa. Same way water also. Purified water. Earlier they used to boil, cool the water and then drink. Agama, apa. Praja is the actual company of people. The friends that I have. Do the friends instigate me to do the wrong things? They pull me down, they criticize me, or they constantly try to make me more indulgent, lethargic. The interesting thing is the fellow who does all that to you, he himself will not do that. He will do something else only and he will go up in life. Then suddenly you wonder, you to pause your country and I am somewhere else something. So what kind of friends we have? People who are tamasic or people who are rajasic, they will constantly make you feel, they will do comparisons. They will make you feel less, they will make you feel that you do not have enough, or they will tell you that you should have done more, you should not be satisfied in your life with this much, don't be contented, you should be hungry, you should have killer instinct, whatever. So many things people can say. They can introduce you also to such people. And then there are sattvic people who actually help the person to be single-pointed, to be focused, to seek higher aspects in life, to have harmony. Rajasic people will even instigate you, you are such a good person, but people don't know your worth and you are getting exploited. Somebody is just taking such undue advantage of you and extracting all the worth out of you. See, this is what is happening in your life and you don't even know that. Then that person suddenly starts thinking, is that so really? And enough serials are there where you get all this masala from. Thereby you can learn how to get instigated and instigate other people also. The Rajasic company. So agama, apa, praja. So kind of company we keep, the people. It is very strange that suppose 10 bad people are there and one good person is there. Typically what will happen? That one good person will turn into bad. Which means that the person does not have the strength in that goodness. Otherwise it should have been the other way. That in the company of this one good person who is so strong, that other 10 should have transformed. But typically these good people are called weak people. So our equation is goodness is equal to dumbness. And smartness is equal to success. Only a smart person will be successful. We don't understand that a good person can also be a smart person and a strong person. So literally praja means that the company of good people who are strong, who are positive, who have strength in their goodness. So agama, apa, praja. Desha means the place. Which places do I visit? Do I visit bookstalls, bookstores, temples, inspiring places of social service, creativity, all these places? Then that is sattvic type of places that I visit. I spend my time there. Rajasic type of places, you have to give me examples. A lot of this is very general that we are talking. Suppose you see a very inspiring movie, it could be a sattvic thing also. So that we have to keep in mind. We are just doing a very broad generalization. So let us say movies, then
Restaurants.
restaurants, malls,
Loud music.
places where loud music is being played. Rajasic type of. Why Rajasic? Because it creates certain excitement, agitation in the mind. Tamasic places, gambling, drinking, all. They make us dull.
Joyrides.
हाँ?
Joyrides.
Joy rides. वो तामसिक कैसे होगा? उसमें तो इतना excitement होता है.
But you're giving pain to yourself. A
हाँ?
lot of people enjoy taking pain also.
Pain.
Like bungee jumping. It's a very painful exercise.
Why is it painful?
Yeah, the first time you do it is very painful. Second time you enjoy it. First time is very painful.
But why painful?
So much stress.
अरे mentally तो you are overcoming your inhibition and fear, Baba. You just jump. If it is actually torture at the body level, because some people torture their body to get pleasure, that is terrible. Then that is tamasic. Haunted house? No. That is not tamasic. If after going to a haunted house you actually feel fear, that means you should have a lot of, you should remove that fear from the head. How can that haunted house create a fear? Which is what do you call, which is a planned haunted house. If you go to actual haunted house, there is a different thing. In a, what do you say, entertainment park, a haunted house is what? There is nothing fear in that. So anyway, the tamasic places make us dull, lethargic, lazy, indolent. Agama apa prajadesha. Kala. Now this is a very important factor. Kala means what? Time. Yeah. Why is it showing only penalty? Okay, so Kala. Kala means time. See, in the day and throughout the day, the time is divided into 3 hours, 4 quarters of 3 hours each. And the cycle goes according to the sun. So the time, it is 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock actually is the sattvic time. Then 9 o'clock in the morning till evening 6 o'clock is the rajasic time. And then evening 6 o'clock onwards to 9 o'clock is again sattvic time. And night 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock is the tamasic time. Now, when we say it is rajasic time, tamasic time, what it means is, in the nature there is a predominance of this particular guna. So early morning from 3 onwards, in fact till 6 is the maximum sattvaguna. That is why it is said Brahma Muhurta is there, and the great masters wake up at that time, they do meditation at that time, and if you get up that early and do meditation, the mind gets a lot of positive vibrations. And it is said you turn towards the north and you meditate because the great masters are meditating. So you can tune up easily. So all spiritual practices are advised to be done at 4 o'clock. The father has to sleep early by 10 o'clock. Our day sometimes starts at 3 o'clock. That then will not help. So what happens? That time sattvaguna is maximum in the nature. And that's why those who say that, I am a night person, I am a day person, and there are words for that, there are terminologies. I am a parrot, means I am a day person. And I am an owl, means I am a night person. So psychiatrist also will tell you, psychologist will tell you that you have to find your type, which you belong. Are you a parrot or are you an owl? Don't struggle. If you are an owl, study in the night, no problem. Keep up till late night. If you are a parrot, you can get up early and you can study. But if you are an owl and you try to get up early, it will not happen. Then you will get only frustrated. Sounds very nice, but that fellow who keeps up till late in the night makes it a habit. After 10 years, what the person will have? Ulcer, acidity, heart problem, all kinds of issues will happen. So, if I be sattvic at the sattvic time and tamasic at the tamasic time, that is the best thing. If I become rajasic at the tamasic time, I had it. In the night from 9 to 3 o'clock, the tamasic time. The earlier I sleep, the better. And Yoga Shastra says something very interesting. It says that every hour of sleep before 12 o'clock in the night gives you benefit of 2 hours of sleep. I don't know whether it is said to motivate people to sleep early or is it actually a fact that medical science may prove. But it says every hour of sleep before 12 o'clock gives you 2 hours of sleep. Hence, if you sleep at 10 o'clock and you wake up at 4 o'clock, you have not had 6 hours of sleep. You have the benefit of 8 hours of sleep. You try. If it works for you, it works.
What is it, 8 hours? 8 hours.
8 hours. If you sleep 10 to 6, instead of getting 10 to 4, instead of getting 6 hours of sleep by clock, you get the benefit of 8 hours of sleep. And the same thing in the afternoon. A power nap in the afternoon gives you double benefit. Provided you wake up early. One wakes up only at 11 o'clock, then there is no need of any power nap. Sometimes people sleep, youngsters especially nowadays, they sleep only at 4 o'clock in the morning. Get up at 10 o'clock. What happens to their body cycle? Body clock goes for a toss totally. If the son or daughter is sleeping by 10:30, 11, bas, good. Thank your stars. Saying, wow, my son is sleeping so early. Otherwise nowadays the children don't sleep. 3 बजे तक तो उनका chatting चलता है. And they start only at 11 o'clock in the night. Huh? So the idea is this, the time is a very important factor, and if we spend the time appropriately when the nature is in a certain mode, it helps the body also, it helps the mind also. So agama, apa, praja, desha, kala, 5 aspects. Then comes karma. Okay, kala has one more aspect. One is this time factor according to the division of 24 hours. Second factor is there are certain times which are sattvic times, which are like when you are meditating, when you are taking the name of the Lord. Those are all sattvic times, whichever time of the day it can be. But the moment you start doing those, that is all sattvic time. Then there are special days which are sattvic. Festival days, Ekadashi, eclipse, Grahan. These are all sattvic days. And in those days when sadhana is done, it intensifies one's spiritual quest. So agama, apa, praja, desha, kala, karma.
Normally they say Grahan times are not good times. That's what we
So we
heard.
do the
See,
prayers.
so Grahan time is not good time for what? You don't go out, you don't eat food. Because scientifically we understand that there are a lot of germs which are getting released into the atmosphere because the sun is covered. So then what, spiritually speaking, at Grahan time you do maximum puja and japa. If you read this Atharva Shirshana, Ganapati Atharva Shirsha in Maharashtra is very famous. You should read the Falashruti of that, the benefit of that Atharva Shirsha. It is said during Surya Grahan, if you chant that, maximum benefit you get. Surya Grahe Mahanedyam Pratima Sannidhau Va Japtva Siddho Bhavati. You become Siddha. So at Grahan time, so people do, in our ashram we always do. Whenever there is a Grahan happening, Especially the time of the eclipse, everyone sits down and we do the Vishnu Sahasranam chanting, we do our, and it is an Ishta Mantra Japa when you do at the time of Grahan, that gets you lot of spiritual intensity. So spiritually speaking, it is the best time. Physically speaking, it is not a very good time. So you don't eat, you don't drink water, you don't go out. And earlier days they did not have that much of, technology available to them like we have today. So they would say that you should never look up at the sun when solar eclipse is happening. When lunar eclipse is happening, you can look. You can look at the sun, but you can't look at the sun. Now you put the glasses and you can look at it, there is no problem. But those days those kind of glasses were not available. So they would even say that you can become blind. And there was one particular year in India where that solar eclipse happened and quite a few people got blind. In the 70s something happened. So physically it is not a good time, externally. Spiritually, best time. So Kala. Then comes karma. How much time do I spend in sattvic karma? So my duties that I do, if I do it with dedication to the Lord, that entire thing becomes sattvic. But if I am doing it for recognition, power, name, fame, prestige, that becomes rajasic. And if I don't do my duty, postpone it, procrastinate, then that is tamasic. That is one aspect. Second aspect of karma is how much special sattvic karma I am doing, like puja, japa, sandhya vandan, dan, yajna, some special vrata that I have taken, that okay, for 1 year I will not eat chocolate, for 1 year I will do japa every day for 10 minutes, something like that. So whatever I do, especially to increase sattvaguna in my life, that is called as sattvic karma. Rajasic karma is all that which is done for self-importance, with egocentric desires. So even in puja I am doing with that self-importance, that I am such a great devotee, I every day do the puja, I never miss my puja. If I becomes more important than the Lord, then that is Rajasic karma. Tamasic karma can be even such karma which is to harm others, hurt others, black magic and all kinds of things. Tamasic. So agama, apapraja, desha, kala, karma, janma. Janma meaning initiation. Again when so janma means initiation. That you are initiated into what? There is sattvic initiation, rajasic initiation, tamasic initiation. Tamasic initiation is where somebody initiates you into wrong acts, makes you do something wrong, harm other people. Terrorism is an example of that, tamasic initiation. Totally brainwashes you. Your thinking only doesn't work appropriately. You have wrong knowledge, deluded. And one thinks that killing people will lead to heaven. What kind of a knowledge is that? How can killing people lead you to heaven? So that tamasic initiation. Rajasic initiation is malpractices. Initiate people into malpractices. Teach them, cheating karke bhi you can just get away, get marks. New methods of cheating in exams. New methods of doing scam. Such an unfortunate thing, that somebody sent an email the other day, or maybe a year ago or something. There is a scam in India for every alphabet, from A to Z. Yeah, there is a scam. I'm horrified to read that. I said, what is this? Which country will have like that? Scam from A to Z. Every alphabet के लिए हमारे पास एक scam है. too much. But that is called Rajasic initiation.
What is the difference between, like you said, even tamasic, terrorism, I agree it's bigger, killing people, but rajasic, tamasic kind of overlap in.
Yeah, there can be overlap also. And in the difference is in the tamasic initiation, the person has even stopped thinking. He's being totally brainwashed. So there is no individual thinking and clarity, and it's totally under delusion. In Rajasic, there is manipulation that is happening. Buddhi is thinking, but in the wrong way. And you know also exactly what you are doing. Or you are doing it wantedly in a wrong and a cunning way. You are manipulating. So, and the Sattvic initiation. So, Upanayinam, etc. is called Sattvic initiation, where the Guru initiates you into the study of the Veda. Somebody initiates you into a mantra japa, or even some positive, like somebody introduces you to an NGO and where you start serving people, genuine bhavana of seva. So, all those where a person becomes selfless. Person is able to contribute to somebody's happiness. A person is straightforward. That is called Sattvic initiation. Then comes Dhyanam. What is Dhyanam? Dhyanam means that which I focus on. That on which I meditate. Which does not mean formal meditation, but through the day, what kind of self-talk that I am having, what is my focus on? Is my focus on living the right values? Is my focus on achieving a specific target, come what may, in whichever way? Or is my focus on just enjoy life, be indulgent? So what is my focus? Whatever is the focus that we attract to ourselves. So that is one meaning of Dhyanam, very broad meaning. So you can even have like a mission statement, like companies have mission statement. Now what is my mission statement? That mission statement will prove to us that whether it is Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. So Dhyanam. Traditional meaning of Dhyanam is what I meditate on. There are people who meditate on Tamasic things also. Like I told you, black magic. There are people who meditate on Rajasic, so they will worship Lakshmi, they will worship different devatas for getting certain benefits. Rajasic. Then there are Sattvic deities. So one meditates on them only for the sake of purity of mind. So remember always the altar of my worship, as my altar of worship, so I will become. If I worship Sattvic ideals, the form that represents sattvaguna, then that is what I will attain. Worship Rajasic ones, I will get that. Worship Tamasic, I become that. So I become what I worship actually. So Dhyanam. Then mantra. Mantra is what I constantly repeat to myself. The same thought. So traditionally mantra means whatever I say to myself. Om Namah Shivaya or Gayatri mantra or Om or Mrityunjay mantra or whatever mantra I take, which I do as sadhana. Again in that there are Sattvic mantras which will never harm us. Even if it is chanted wrongly, it will not harm. But there are Rajasic and Tamasic mantras when they are chanted wrongly, they can give reverse benefit also. Not benefit, reverse effect. It will harm also. So Tamasic mantras, Rajasic mantras, Sattvic mantra. All that black magic mantra, tantra, those things which come under some of the tantric mantras are tamasic ones, which harm, which hurt, which injure. Rajasic are all what you get for power, pleasure, all those mantras which we chant for Ashwamedha Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna, we chant for
And Shri
Lakshmi
Suktam.
Devi.
Shri Suktam is
it depends now on what attitude also. If you worship Shri as wealth of virtues and values, and it's up. If you worship it as only for physical prosperity, financial prosperity, then it is Rajasic. I don't know much about Rajasic and Tamasic mantras because anyway that is not my focus. But one can find there are lots of Rajasic and Tamasic mantras which are there. All these mantras which we generally do, Gayatri, Mrityunjay, Om Namah Shivaya, Om, these are all called sattvic mantras. So one meaning of mantra is that. Second meaning of mantra is my self-talk. Whatever I keep telling myself again and again. There are some people who keep on putting themselves down. I am a useless fellow. I am a worthless fellow. I can't do much. I don't think anything I am capable of. They continuously do self-criticism. That is the mantra going on in their head. There are some people who keep telling themselves, I am successful but this is not enough. I have to achieve more. I have to do more. I have to do this much more. I have to achieve that much more. They keep talking that in their mind. And there are some people who say that I am a nice person, calm, peaceful, I am loving, I am lovable. Positive self-talk. So a lot of treatment in psychiatry is about this. Is about how positive is my self-talk. And so they have positive auto-suggestions. I have to literally make my body relaxed, mind quiet and change my self-talk. So I have to tell myself that, I am a nice person, I am a positive person, all is well in my life, everything is going on properly. Otherwise there is an anxiety in the mind. My life is not in my control, nothing is happening properly, everything is going in sixes and sevens and all that type of thoughts come. Mind is anxious, excited, cannot do properly. All the time irritable, angry. So dhyanam mantra tha, samskara. So samskara is impression. Literally samskara means impression. So every action that we do leaves an impression on the mind. So in our culture, the traditional meaning of samskara is to refine the mind. Refinement of the mind is called as samskara. And to refine the mind, there are certain rituals which one does. So that is what we call in our culture as Shodash Samskar. 16 samskars at different stages in one's life, which when they are done, the mind gets refined. Slowly. So 3 samskaras are before birth. So one is called Garbhadhan, the act of conception, placing the seed in the womb. Literally it means that. Garbhadhan. So even that act of a union between a man and a woman is not an animalistic act, not a physical act of pleasure. But it is meant for continuing the lineage. And it is done with the bhavana that we are going to bring a soul into this world. And so may our attitude be the right attitude. And so there are mantras which are chanted. And then the union happens. And then we believe that the soul comes into this world through the parents according to the karma. So it is not just that suddenly randomly some conception happens. Science may say that the chance of conception is 1 in a million or whatever that is. But the point is, why does it happen that only a particular soul comes in? Because of the karma. So even a Sufi mystic, that Khalil Gibran, what did he say? He said that children are not born to us, they are born through us. That book, Prophet, and that's a very nice book actually. In that many beautiful things he has written about marriage, about childhood, about house, about work, different things. The Prophet. the prophet by Khalil Gibran. So what he has spoken about marriage there is incomparable, superb what he has said about marriage. And what examples he has given there about the temple, about the lute, and he has related that to marriage, and the basic advice that he has given is that how love and detachment should go together in a married life. And then about children also, beautiful aspects about children and parents he has written in that. So he says that children are like the arrows of life and parents are like the bow, and life aims, whatever the karma of that child, accordingly the life aims and the child will attain its goal. And just like the arrow meets the goal, but don't think that for the bow, for the archer, just the arrow is important. For the archer, the bow is more important. And the archer loves the bow much more than the arrows. So the arrow is shot through you, but the bow remains with the archer. Lovely things he has said in that. So parents are like the bow. Because children will leave the parents and go one day. They will settle, they will find their own job, their own karma will take them wherever they have to go. So that time parents become a little sad. Yeah, my child went away. That's where he reminds, don't think that the child has gone away. Remember the archer who is holding you. Remember the Lord who is holding you. Very lovely things he has said in that. So that about marriage, about children. So Garbhadhan is the first samskar, then Simant, then Pumsavana, then Simanta Unnayana, before birth. Then after birth, when the child is born, then the tonsuring of the head, and then the piercing of the ear, and then the first feeding of the cereal, then the first outing. Lot of these, Namakarana, giving the name,
Education and first
Akshar Abhyas, Upanayanam, all these are samskars. See, in our culture we always believed in the samskars because how do we make the mind subtle otherwise? Something which is, you cannot see, hear, taste, smell, touch. How to make that mind trained? How to refine that mind from its animalistic nature to something more human and then more divine. So each stage these rituals are done. Marriage is also a samskar. Graduation, Samavartan, when a person comes back, that is also a beautiful samskar in our culture. Not the one which we do otherwise. Wear one black coat and black topi and then at the end of it take a degree and throw that cap off. That maybe, I don't know what significance that has, but that is done. Otherwise in our culture there is a nice ceremony which is done for Samavartan. When a person graduates and comes back. Also because at that time they used to go away. They stayed with the Guru for so many years. Even today many people go away to boarding schools. But at least we should be aware of what does the samskar mean, what is supposed to be done, so that our culture also continues. Otherwise slowly our culture is getting lost. So many traditional things that one used to do earlier, one doesn't do anymore. So slowly the culture becomes extinct. So samskara, one meaning is that 16 samskaras of how these can make the mind more sattvic. Samskara also can mean impression that the society, the people around us leave on us. So if our impressions are very tamasic, our actions and experiences are so tamasic that they leave a tamasic impression on the mind, then the mind becomes more and more dull, more and more unenthusiastic, disinterested. The impressions are more rajasic, the mind becomes more disturbed. So let the impressions be sattvic. So actually these earlier 8 points, all of them leave impressions on the mind. So if 8 aspects are sattvic, the 9th one will become sattvic. And the last one is ये 10 हो गए? हाँ 10 हो गया. संस्कार is the 10th. ध्यान मंत्र का संस्कार. Dashaite guna hetavah. These 10 are the ones which improve the sattvaguna in one's life. So if I change this into sattvic, then I am all the time in company of the good. Satsang I am in company of. And when I am in the company of sat all the time, what will happen? Satsangatve nissangatva. I will live in detachment. Meaning, I will not be bound by objects, emotions, thoughts. I don't have false expectations. I live a life of clarity, of non-dependence, of freedom. Such a person, nissangatvam, will always think positively. Because these 10 aspects are there which are in one's life, which are positive, which are sattvic. I want to show you the ladder of fall that we spoke last time. That if these 4 are the steps of attaining Jivan Mukti, what are the steps of falling? These are the steps. How human being falls. This is from the Gita, 2nd chapter. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. So the fall of a human being starts by the thoughts of pleasure. That this object has pleasure, that place has enjoyment, this if I become I will be more happy. So the more one broods on pleasure, attachment rises. Pleasurable thoughts lead to attachment, that I want it. That I start getting attached to it, where I start imagining myself with that. So the latest car and the latest phone and the latest new food item which has come out. And then I start imagining when I eat that, bliss. In monsoon I must have pakoda and chai and a nice novel, and it is raining and I am sitting in the balcony and enjoying. Wow. Just thinking about that relaxes me totally. So then I get attached to that. Because now I want it. Next time it is raining, my wife is not at home, pakoda can't be cooked, I will get disturbed. Oh God, wife is not there, where will I get pakoda now? So that attachment leads to desire, I must have it. Desire leads to anger if I don't get it. Pakoda is there but rain is not falling. Now what is this? So that if it is fulfilled, it leads to greed. If it is not fulfilled, it leads to anger. Then, when anger happens, delusion happens. I can't remember that even though I know that anger is not good for me. Still I get angry, I shout, who is in front of me also I forget. Deluded I will become. Yeah, we can zoom also. But it won't stay zoom. It can stay, correct. So these are first 4 steps. Pleasurable thoughts lead to attachment. Attachment leads to desire. Desire leads to anger. Then anger leads to delusion. Delusion leads to memory loss. Memory loss meaning though I know, I forget at that time. So many times we say, no, I knew it, but I just could not control myself. Just said what I had to say. I know that I should not be violent, but I just lost control. I can't help it. I became a victim. Became violent, slapped the person. Khatam ho gaya. So delusion leads to memory loss. Memory loss leads to thoughtlessness. Action is done without any discrimination. Buddhi nasha, that is called. Buddhi nasha pranashyati. When a person loses the discriminative capacity, what is right, what is wrong, doesn't think, acts thoughtlessly, then one has got destroyed completely. So the downfall, from vertical one becomes horizontal, straight. So this is in the 2nd chapter, I think 63rd, 64th verse. I don't know the number actually. But that Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, 62, 63. very powerful. This analysis we don't find anywhere else about how a human being perishes. How systematically thoughts of pleasure can create attachment, desire, anger, delusion, thoughtlessness. One perishes straight. And this happens very fast. Huh? It is not that, okay, now I am in the stage of desire. Now slowly anger will come. Then slowly delusion. Fart. Over. By the time we realize you are already down. 8 steps. So ladder of fall has 8 steps, and you fall 1 step, one keeps tumbling down. And ladder of rise has 4 steps. So if you see the ladder of rise, you will see pleasurable thoughts is replaced by satsang. So that satsang will lead to detachment. Fall is having attachment. The detachment, when it is there, then this loss of delusion will happen. So no delusion. Nissanga will lead to nirmoha. Yeah. This is the same fall. This fall only, but I am saying how the parallel is drawn. See, satsanga is pleasurable thoughts is substituted with satsang. So when there is satsang, this nissanga is non-attachment, right? So attachment will be replaced by detachment. When the attachment is replaced by detachment, then it is jumping down straight to delusion. Delusion will become clarity. Nirmoha is written there, no? Freedom from delusion. So that is clarity. And when nirmoha is there, then there will be nischala tattvam. So thoughtlessness is substituted with stillness. And the mind will become calm and quiet. Nischala tattvam. And the downfall becomes jivan mukti. So instead of falling down, one has become jivan mukta. So they both go hand in hand actually. It is just that this is elaborated more. 8 steps are given here in downfall, but in rising there are only 4 steps. Just that it is not elaborated more. You can even elaborate it if you want. Make 8 steps of rise if you want. So the 4 steps which are given in Bhaja Govindam will become 8 steps. So nissangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan.
That greed, where comes greed in this ladder of fall? It's anger
So anger or greed. So desire, if it is fulfilled, it will become greed. If it is not fulfilled, it will become anger. Right. So for today we will stop here. Anybody wanting to change party? You want to change party?
Yes.
Chalo. So you have one more opponent. Now how are you going to do this? You have to figure out whether you will meet. So those of you who are for, you have to meet sometime and prepare your argument, saying how do you prove that there is God? Why God is required and how to prove God is there? In a debate, we always have 3 rounds. That's how I conduct a debate. I've forgotten how people do. First round is where both of them will present their case. Second round is a rebuttal. So for people can find flaws, for against people will find flaws in for. So then they have to defend. And then the third round is open. That anybody can ask, even audience can ask, anybody can ask any question to those 2 groups. And then finally we decide that which is the winner. So now how will you do this? You have to figure out. Do you want to do it group wise? That group wise is so very easy. Because here there is an uneven proportion. So many of you are for. So if you want, you choose, let us say, Maybe you all put down your points and you tell, you have maybe 3 or 4 representatives that these will represent the for group. That is up to you now, you decide. So what you have to do is figure out this, that God exists, why God, and prove the existence of God. And same way the against team has to do that.
Why it does not exist?
That God does not exist.
I think that God must.
Prove that God does not
Till
exist.
now we are believing that God is.
It will make your conviction stronger. Otherwise we don't know only.
You search why it is not. You search for it.
When is the next class now?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
But the thing is, next Sunday will be 9 to 10 only. So our teams will get 5 minutes to present their first round. Second round 10 minutes, last round 5 minutes. So 25 minutes max debate has to be done. Over. So you have to prepare accordingly. And it should be convincing enough. So you do what has to be done now. You decide you have some time.
After 15 days.
After 15 days. So you need more time to collect ammunition.
Then you become lousy.
Actually that person who is against God has to find more time. You are also already believing God exists. Why do you need more time?
For proving.
For proving I need more time. Otherwise I have faith.
Because to make others understand that God is there.
Okay, so
There is no
then,
doubt.
we will see then. You prepare, I'll give you 15 days. Next week I will tell you which class. Which date you will do the debate.
If somebody wants to change party, they are not moving.
Suddenly now don't change the party.
By trying to prove, they realize that I'm not able to prove. Might as well go on the other side.
ये क्या बात है?
They watch over.
But Swamiji, I am all alone then.
No, I'll
I'll be with
come with you. I'm going with him. I just
But
want
she is also changing.
Ajay is also with us.
Wow.
We got one more person. Ajay is also with Rajesh.
He is also there, she is also there. By the end of the debate, you will have the whole class which one is. Okay, so next week we continue this. And then week after that we will do the debate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari